Hello all, 4-Player Squad Gaming here, and this is our Final Fantasy XIV Dungeon Guide series. The Wanderer's Palace Hard is a level 50 dungeon available after completing the main story questline, and is part of the quest Not Easy Being Green. It is also worth mentioning that at the time of recording this video, 100 Tomestones of Poetics are awarded upon completion. If you haven't already, make sure to click the sword in the bottom corner to subscribe. So without further ado, let's get into the guide. The layout is very similar to the normal version of this dungeon, and Alexa has set the mood lighting to green, and you'll be glad to know this time there is no serial killer Tomberry chasing us, so we can take our time. Isn't that nice? Kill the first set of adds ahead, being mindful of the frontal cones and point blank AoEs. This will open the gate and allow us to proceed. Repeat the process for the next gate. You will need to kill all the adds here, including the patrolling silver scales. Repeat once more for the final gate and walk through towards the first boss fight. Frumious Koheel Ja is our first boss, and Frumious means very angry. Thanks, popular search engine. We can start this fight as normal with the tank gaining enmity and facing it away from the party. This is a tank and spankable boss with one mechanic to be mindful of. Periodically, Koheel Ja will throw a burning spear into the ground. They will taint a small area of the ground and will pulse AoE damage, also causing a stacking burning debuff on the party. Simply kill them as they appear. They have low health and can be burned down quickly. Then switch focus back to Koheel Ja. The boss can target random players with a circular AoE. Simply move to avoid this and continue the fight. Before long, Frumious Koheel Ja will become dead Koheel Ja. Pick up your loot and proceed. The next part of this dungeon can be tackled in two different ways. You can either kill the sacred standards, removing any buff of the remaining adds and then clear them, or you can completely ignore the standards and kite the adds out of the buff zone and kill them as normal, leaving the standards, that have a surprisingly large health pool. Whichever way you choose, kill all the adds and keep progressing through the doors that open, and repeat this process until you reach the second boss fight. SLithy Zolool Ja is our second boss. Slithy meaning slimy. Guess how I found that out? Start this boss as normal with the tank gaining enmity and facing it away from the party. Just when you thought all the sacred standards had been cleared, Zolool Ja will summon 4 different coloured standards. Each has a different buff or debuff, and these are randomised. Our aim here is for the party to figure out which standard has which buff or debuff, which consists of a damage up buff, heavy debuff, toad debuff, and fire resistance down debuff. If all of the standards are left alone, Zolool will recall them, and instead gain the damage up buff, making this fight much more difficult. We need to determine which is the damage up buff and ideally give this to our damage dealers, and ignore the other 3 standards. If you pick up Toad, you can wait for the timer to run out or pick up Toad again to remove it. We also need to be careful of the fire resistance down debuff standard, as this can stack, and when the boss uses fire, this can deal huge damage. Keep piling on the damage in between standard phases, and before long this fight will be over. Pick up your loot and proceed. In this next part of the dungeon, we need to clear the adds that allow us through the first gate, then head down toward the prison cells, kill the guards and free the trapped Tomberries. They will open a secret passage down towards the sewers. Here we must kill the abscess and all of the mini abscesses that it spawns. This will remove the pollen from around the area and allow us to activate the drainage valve, clearing the way. Clear the adds and head up the ramp. Activate the Nimian device and enter the long hall. Kill the silver scales at the top and head on through towards the final boss fight. Enjoy the short cutscene. Manxome Molaa Ja Ja is our final boss. Manxome meaning fearsome, and yes, I searched for that one too. Start the fight as normal with the tank gaining enmity and facing the boss away from the party. This fight has a variety of mechanics to be mindful of. As with all of the other standards throughout the duty, we need to kite the boss out of the buff zone. I recommend doing this around the outer edge of the area, giving us more room to fight. Ja Ja will also cast a huge frontal cone on a random party member. This can be hard to avoid if the party members are spread out too far. Periodically, the boss will summon a sacred idol that will tether to it. Kill it to remove the buff it grants. One random party member will also be debuffed with rotting lungs, and if hit by the point blank AoE rotting gas, they will take more damage and also pulse an AoE from them, damaging the party. Simply avoid the point blank AoE to avoid any of this unnecessary damage. Molaa can also cast Doom on a random party member. This can be negated if looking away from Molaa at the end of the cast, or if the healer heals the party member to full health. Failure to remove Doom will instantly KO the player. With these mechanics in mind, kite Ja Ja around the area, removing debuffs and avoiding the AoE, and the final boss will no longer rule over the Tomberries. And there you have it, the Wanderer's Palace Hard is complete. Remember to commemorate the player you believe deserves it most and pick up your loot. We give this duty a difficulty rating 3 out of 5 swords. The final boss is mechanic heavy and has a large health pool, which can lead to a tricky fight which is easy to win. Like, comment and subscribe, and click on the sword in the bottom corner if you haven't already. We are 4Player Squad Gaming, thanks for watching.